Hey guys, so this is part two. Sorry that we had a little, we're trying to run out of time on us. So here's part two to unknown here, but well known to God. So I hope you'll stick with us. It's really been a blessing to me here, sitting here hearing it, and I just pray that you'll stick with us and listen to the rest. Okay, thank you. Here she is.
Hi guys, sorry about that. Okay, we were talking about how her parents, this little maid's parents, probably asked God why our little girl had to be taken captive and why all this happened. And I was explaining that we go through trials as well, and we don't know why. And at the time, we can't understand it. We can't see any logical reason for a trial, but God is always working things in our favor, and He's always working extremely hard for souls to be saved. And so He'll go to great lengths for people to get saved. I mean, He sent His only Son that we could be saved. That's how much He loves us. And He'll put us through some extremely difficult, long trials. Sometimes, just to save one sinner. And we should be understanding of that, but it is hard. So I'm gonna give you one more story here, and we'll I'll wrap it up then. And so the story is about a man, and he actually lived in Chicago, Illinois, and his name was Kimberly. And yes, his man's name Kimberly. But he is what they would call an introvert or really shy person, and just didn't interact well with people, and they would kind of call him, then they called it kind of backwards, but in spite of this, he was a Christian, and he actually taught a small Sunday school class for boys, and of course we know that he didn't look up when he was teaching or look people in the eye, but he was still, even with that, he was still being used by God. So he was a Sunday school teacher, and then one day God burdened his heart for one of these boys in the class. It's one of these teenage boys, and so he just couldn't. God just kept dealing with him, and so finally he went down to the shoe store where this young boy worked, and began to talk to him, and he went several times for several weeks, and eventually this young man got saved. And so it's important that we, when God lays somebody on our heart, for us to do what He's telling us to go do. So the young man got saved, and you may have heard of this man. His name was actually D.L. Moody, and this D.L. Moody was an evangelist and had millions and millions of people saved through his messages and his preaching. And then one night when Mr. Moody was having a tent revival, then another man got saved, and his name was Mordecai Ham, and he also became a great evangelist, one of America's greatest evangelists. And then when this Mordecai Ham, when he was preaching a tent revival, one night in Charlotte, North Carolina, he was preaching, and there was 3 teenage boys that came there to the revival, and they came there though with the intention of just haggling the preacher, trying to embarrass him, making fun of him, interrupting the service and things like that. They were not there to hear or about God. So the preacher said that he remembered this young man because he was like a tall, lanky, skinny young boy, and he sat up in the choir loft and right behind the preachers, just so that he could make fun of him, and his friends sat on the front pew so that they could all make fun of him. But their plans didn't work, because God, the Holy Spirit, dealt with this young boy's heart, and he got saved that night. And you might know him because his name was the Reverend Billy Graham. So God had put his hand on this backward Sunday school teacher named Kimberly from Chicago, Illinois, to go and speak to this boy. He put a burden on his heart to go and speak to this boy, which was Mr. Moody. And as we saw, the other people that got saved, and then they would be the preacher and another person got saved, and it's like a chain reaction. And then, of course, Billy Graham got saved. And when this man was being obedient to God and going to the young boy at the store, he has no idea that through that act of obedience and faith, that millions and millions of people would be saved. And so that just goes to show you that no matter what you are, if you're known here or unknown here, if you're great or small, God can use you. He can use you to save millions and millions of people. So, like I said, no matter what your talent is or what task God gives you to do or lays on your heart to do, again, if you're great, if you're small, if people know you or if they don't, he will use you to save people's souls from hell. You may have only led one person to the Lord, but every person that person leads to the Lord, and then that person, and so on and so on and so on, it's like you get the credit for it. It's like you led them yourself. So you'll be surprised when you get to heaven by just the little things of acts of obedience that we listen to when the Holy Spirit is speaking to us. If we'll just be obedient and go and do this, God will use it in a mighty, mighty way, and he will also bless you in the process. Again, you may be unknown here to many people, but you are well known to God because he loves you. And that's all of the lesson that I have tonight, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And if so, just keep watching, and we'll bring some more messages to you. So here's Angela.
Okay, thanks everybody. We really appreciate your encouragement and just the comments we're even getting about lessons, and we just pray that you just draw closer and closer to God through these lessons. So we love you all, and thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.